Welcome to the second episode of the Girls Ask Guys Show. I'm your host, John Newport, also known as Knighted 2170. This is a show where we give our opinions on your questions. The show where you are the star. This is where we come to figure out how to make it through this thing that we call life. Hang on, because we are beginning right now. Hey, I just want to thank everybody for tuning back into the Girls Ask Guys show. I know this is our second episode, but I really do appreciate that you're actually giving us a chance. Hopefully you recognize that there's a difference in our audio quality between the first episode and this episode. All the equipment that I mentioned that we were ordering, it finally came in. We got it hooked up. We got the bugs worked out. And hopefully you're going to notice a difference in the type of production that we're actually doing. We do have some more equipment that's going to be coming in. We're going to be adding that to this. And hopefully it keeps improving and getting better so that, hey, you don't mind listening. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's dive right in here and let's take a couple of questions and see if we can't help a few people out. Okay, so our first question comes from the dating area. And this one is put in by Maharajput. Okay, I apologize if I messed up your name, but it's not a name that I'm actually familiar with. Okay, so she continues on. I'm a 5'3" girl with reasonably good looks, but would it be better if I am too skinny or more heighted to attract more men than I do now? P.S. This is not insecurity. It's just a thought I would like to discuss. Okay, Maha. Okay, it really, in my personal view, in my personal opinion, okay, it really doesn't matter if you're a 5'3" girl or if you're a 6'4". It really doesn't matter to me. Really, what I look for, and what a lot of guys actually look for, is proportionality. And what I mean by that is that your shoulders and your hips are about the same size, and your waist is actually slightly smaller. Now, there is a formula for that. I don't remember right off the top of my head. I wrote about it in one of the answers I actually wrote a while back, called the pi formula. And your height will determine what most people consider attractive, as far as your shoulder and hips being about the same size and your waist actually being slightly smaller. So it really doesn't matter. If you go super skinny, yes, you are going to attract some guys. What people want to really do is open yourself up to the widest audience. Now, the way that you open yourself up to the widest audience, now, the fact that you're 5'3" and you're not like of average height, you do have a smaller guys that are actually going to be looking and finding you attractive. That doesn't mean to say that there are no guys out there. It's just a smaller group of guys based on the overall group of guys. It's kind of like people who lead an eccentric lifestyle. Not everybody finds that attractive. So out of 100% of people, they may only attract 2%. And not that I'm trying to hate on anybody, but anybody who has body modifications, not everybody finds that attractive. Really, those who also are into body modification lifestyles, those are the people that are going to be attracted to them. So what you want to do is open yourself up to the widest audience. The way you do that is to look at your own character traits and your own flaws. You want to correct those that would actually limit you, while you actually enhance those without going overboard, those qualities people actually do find attractive. And that's really up to you to discover those. I don't know you. I'm just some guy on the internet giving you my opinion on a question that you posted in an open forum. But that would be what I would say that you would need to do. It's not going super skinny. It's not changing your hairstyle. It's not going out and getting plastic surgery. It's about being authentic to who you are, discovering who you are, and really caring less about what other people think. I mean, that's really the core of it. Be authentic to yourself, and no other terms, screw what everybody else thinks. If you're living your life based on other people's opinions, then you're not living your life. You're living their lives. Be authentic to yourself. Open yourself up to the widest audience, and you will start attracting more guys. I hope that helps you out and at least gives you something to consider. Hey, before I get on to the next question, I just want to remind everybody that if you have a question that you want answered on the Girls Ask Guys show, all you have to do is head over to girlsaskguys.com, submit your question, and we will read it here on the air, give you some opinions, and see if we can actually point you in the right direction or help you out in some way. Okay, so this next question comes out of the dating area. And this is from Glowcat20. How can I get to know my boyfriend better? She goes on to say, I'm in a relationship with an Air Force pilot. He's deployed. We got together a few months ago this year. I never know what I could ask him to get to know him better. Does anybody know some things that I could ask my boyfriend to get to know him better? Well, you're in luck. This is something I actually know how to do. Now, I do want to say that anybody who's in the military or works in a military-style job, such as law enforcement, we tend to be a little bit more closed off, a lot more reserved in giving information about ourselves. It's just a way that we protect ourselves from being hurt when somebody actually leaves. And in the military, you're constantly transferring. People are coming in, people are leaving, and you don't want to get too close to them because they are going to eventually leave. So what you want to do is what I call strings. And this idea of strings is that you would ask a question and listen for something that you can actually pick up on and make that into another question. So he's an Air Force pilot. So you can ask him, why did you join the Air Force? Well, my answer when people ask me, well, why did I join the military, is I've always wanted to be a Marine. And that would be it. That's my answer, cut and dry. That's it. Conversation over. Next question. You can actually dovetail off that. What was appealing about the Air Force over the other services? Well, I wanted to be a fighter pilot. What made you want to be a pilot? And he's going to go any number of different ways. He just likes flying. He likes the G-forces. He just likes the excitement. And you can actually dovetail off of that again. And it's just these little strings that you can pull that's going to open a box for information to flow out. And you can do this with anything. His favorite meal. Why is it your favorite meal? And I just like the texture, or it's something that my mom used to make. It reminds me of home. It's something that my grandmother used to make. It reminds me of visiting my grandmother. Those kind of questions, and you're going to be able to use those in order to get further into his personality and what actually makes him him. And this is something that I use all the time. I use it when I'm interviewing people for positions. I use it when I'm working with inmates or I'm meeting a girl for the very first time. You can use this almost anywhere. Now, the thing I want to warn you about is that you don't want to keep harping on the same topic. So if you ask him why he joined the Air Force, for example, you don't want to keep picking at why he joined. If his answers become strained or he actually keeps giving the same answer, he has no other information to give. You want to move on. Now, you can also go to prior, because he's currently deployed, you can actually use conversations that you had earlier with him, say in like the first month or the first week. If you remember a topic that you were talking about, and you remember just this little nugget of information, you can follow up and ask him, do you remember when you mentioned X? Why do you like that? What is appealing about it? And if you stick with those two questions, why do they like it? What is appealing? Those are what is going to open up the box. So phrase your questions as to why they like something or why something appeals to them. And you'll actually become to know him a lot better. I hope that helped. If you have any further questions or if you need some assistance on this because I muddied it up too much, just get with us on the website and I'll be happy to follow up with you. The next question comes from relationships. This is from an anonymous female, 18 to 24. And her question is more of a statement. It says, boyfriend not responding while my mother is in the hospital. And she continues with, my mom ended up in the hospital a few days ago in a coma, and the doctors think she's probably going to be dying soon. And I've been a wreck, LOL. It's actually in the message, LOL. And I've been trying hard to get hold of my boyfriend. He doesn't have a phone currently, but he has a laptop I know he uses for schoolwork. So I've emailed him hundreds of times, and he's not responding. And I'm not sure if I'm overreacting because of what's happening with my mother or if something's wrong. And if he doesn't reply, what do I do? I need him with me. I need something to help with how broken I feel, and he's failing. Well, right off the top, I want to say I have to agree. But there's one key piece of information here that I'm not seeing, and that is I'm going to assume that he knows that your mom is in the hospital. I'm assuming that it's not implicit in the question itself. Now, with that, assuming that he knows, yeah, he's failing. And I don't know why he wouldn't actually respond to you, except that he has no idea of how to even go about comforting you at all, because you are looking at a potential end of life situation. That's difficult for people who have never dealt with that. And even people who have dealt with it have difficulty dealing with it. So that would be the only thing that I could say as to why he's not replying. He just has no clue as to how to even comfort you. Even though it's rather simple, he just needs to be there, be a sounding board for you, let you vent the feelings and the emotions that you are feeling. Now, saying that he doesn't know that your mother's in the hospital, even though you've sent him hundreds of emails, who knows? Maybe his laptop broke. He could have been typing away and spilled a drink on it and it completely shorted out. There's all different other areas and reasons as to what might have happened that are plausible as to why he wouldn't reply. But say that he doesn't know, you've emailed him, and even though he might be reading the emails, he could have already made up his mind that he's no longer interested in a relationship with you, and this is giving him the perfect reason to go ahead and not reply. So what do you do if he continues to not reply? That is up to you. I mean, what I would personally do is I would actually approach him and find out what his deal is. Just ask him straight up, what is going on? And with that, I would base my decision. Now, if it sounds plausible as to why he wasn't replying, such as he had no idea of how to even support you, it's up to you. You give him sympathy and go ahead and continue with the relationship, or you can say, that's totally screwed up. I'm done. I mean, that's up to you. It's your life. You have to make your own decisions. And throughout your entire life, you're going to be posed with decisions like this. They aren't going to be nice. You're going to have to play the bad guy, and you're just going to have to put your foot down and say, I deserve more, and I'm not putting up with people who are going to disrespect me in such a way. I mean, I agree. If he knows what is happening and he is not replying to you, I would say he is failing. And me personally, I wouldn't handle that very well. But that's up to you, okay? I hope that helps. Hope it gives you something to think about, a direction that you could possibly take. And I wish you the best. I mean, you're going through some hard stuff right now. I hope everything works out in your favor. Okay, so let's take our next question here. And this one is coming out of flirting. And this is from a guy with the username Yeet. Lots of E's in there. And he's 22. And he is wondering, how can I win a girl's favor when I have no car and live with my parents? Now, he continues on and says, I am in school and I can't really afford to buy a car or move out right now, but I do make enough money to Uber everywhere I need to go. I just can't bring a girl home or do anything suspicious at my parents' house. I feel like such a goddamn loser for this, but realistically, I know I shouldn't move until after I graduate and I can afford to finance a vehicle. But still, when I walk to work, I feel like everyone is judging me. Me not having a car is the main reason why girls I meet from school don't bother trying to hang out with me. I also don't smoke or drink, so I come off as boring. I don't know. It's just a lot of pressure on me. I feel like I'm going to die single and bitter. Well, Yeet, I can definitely tell you are frustrated just by how you worded everything in this. First thing I want to address is the judgment thing. You walk to work and you feel like everyone is judging you. No, they're not. They don't know you. So why are you worried about what other people are looking at you about? For all they know, they can be an environmentalist and they're looking at you and they're going, look at that. That guy is actually saving the environment. He's walking to work and everybody else is driving these gas guzzling, carbon polluting vehicles all over the place. So forget what other people are thinking about you, because that is going to affect how other people actually see you, because you are internalizing that and then turning that around, and it's coming out in everything about you, how you talk, how you walk, and your body gestures. For the other part of this, where you're talking about you can't really afford to buy a car or move right now, hey, that's understandable. Not everybody can afford a car or to actually get out of a situation that they're currently in. But there are alternatives. Now, you say you do make enough that you can Uber everywhere you go. What's wrong with that? There isn't anything wrong with that. A lot of people I know that live in the larger cities, they Uber everywhere. They Uber to work, they Uber to lunch, they Uber back to work, they take Uber back home. They need to go shopping, they'll Uber. These are people that I personally know, and it's crazy to me. I can't wrap my head around it, but that is what they choose to do. To them, it costs less than actually trying to buy a car. And they go on dates with Uber. She doesn't want to go on a date with him because he's Ubering everywhere. They say, screw you. This is my life. Either you can accept it or you can keep on walking. Now, that's not the reason that girls aren't going to go out with you. There's a lot more to that. I mean, that could just be the tipping stone. But you're actually basing your life on what other people might be thinking about you. You cannot control other people's thoughts. It's that simple. People are probably listening to this podcast thinking I'm full of shit. That's them. I cannot control what they think of me. All I can do is put out the content, and either they like it or they don't. There's no in between. That's just the way life is. Now, based on the question and seeing the frustration that you have in there, you have to change your mindset, okay? Now, when you meet a girl and she actually is taking interest in you, you have to step back, look at what you are putting out there. Just tell them straight up, hey, I like you, I'd like to go out with you, but right now I don't have a car. Do you mind if we Uber? She could say, sure, I don't got any problems with that. Or she could turn around and say, oh, I've got a car. Where do you live? I'll pick you up. It's that simple. Either they can accept you or they don't. And if they don't, move on. Don't try to impress people. Now, I'm not getting that you're trying to impress people, but you're taking this that you live in your parents' house and you don't have a car as a reason that things are not working in your favor. Stop doing that. Now, you could actually save up and just buy a car and not move out of your parents' place. Or you can move in with, say, a roommate, somebody that's actually looking for somebody to help with the bills a little bit, pay them a little, and now you have your own place, but you're still Ubering. But it's your own place. Here's the thing. Here's how I look at this stuff, because I've talked with a lot of people, and I've got a lot of experience in this particular area that you're in. Now, when I've done this before, people say, oh, so all I have to do is I just have to endure the shit sandwich. No, you don't. You just have to find a sandwich that doesn't taste like shit. Right now, you're choking down something that you don't like, and you're projecting that through your body language, through how you act, through your voice and your tonality and everything else, and it's coming off as negative. People don't want negative people in their life. They want positive people. So you spin it and you change your mentality and you start looking at this like, yes, this is my current situation, but this is where I'm going. Do you want to join me on this journey or not? Now, you don't have to sit there and be so negative and so down on yourself that you feel like you're going to die single and bitter. Dude, you're 22 years old. Do you realize that people actually live 4 separate lives, from 1 to 20, from 20 to 40, from 40 to 60, and then 60 to 80? Now, the reason I say that is because if you look at the mortality tables, most people die somewhere around 80 years old. It could be 75, could be 76. It might be 97. Could be 115. Who knows? But you have 4 complete lives. You just finished your first life, 1 to 20. You're in your second life, 20 to 40. This is your peak earning years. You're 22. So look at your life and spin it and make it positive. Make this a positive experience, and you will attract girls. Girls will come and want to hang out with you, whether you live in your parents' house or not, whether you have a car or not. You need to get off of this and start looking at things in a positive viewpoint, and things will start to work for you. People are not judging you. Nobody said anything to you. What, does everybody that passes you on the side of the street actually look and say, oh, you're a loser? No, they don't. They probably just look at you and keep on going. You are putting those thoughts in your own head. You're living inside your own head. Stop thinking about it, and things will start to change. Nobody's judging you for anything. And if they do, screw them. Well, I work in an environment where I get judged every single day that I go in. It is a toxic environment. And I just don't care. I don't care what people think about me. Now, I dress the way I dress because that's how I want to dress. I feel good how I dress. I act the way I act because I like how I act. If you don't like it, take a hike. I don't care. That's the place that you have to get to. That you don't live your life according to what you think other people think about you. You got to know who you are and start living your life on your terms and start loving and realizing who you are, the type of person you are. And people will be attracted to that. And then everything will start to change. People will actually want to work with you. You go in, you graduate, you now have this piece of paper that says you've learned a bunch of stuff, and now you want to go and show that you can apply that knowledge to actually making a living. You walk in there with the type of attitude that you currently have, where you think you're going to die single and bitter, well, guess what? They're not going to want to work with you. So change how you look at things, and you will actually come off as a more likable person. Now, you say you don't smoke or drink, so you come off as boring. Who says that? What, you've talked to a girl and, well, I don't smoke or drink. Oh, well, you're boring. I seriously doubt that happened. I know plenty of people who don't smoke and don't drink, and they are not boring. Now, they may be doing stuff that I'm not interested in, but that doesn't mean they're boring. I mean, I know a lot of people who go fishing. I hate fishing. A lot of people get a bunch of pleasure out of it. I don't see the point of tossing this little line in there and then sitting there for 2.5 hours waiting for some dumb fish to bite a hook so that I can reel it in and, depending on how big it is, toss it back. I don't like cleaning fish. I'll go and I'll eat seafood. I just don't want to clean it, catch it, or clean it. I don't care for fishing. I also don't like tennis. But there's thousands of people that will go to a tennis tournament. I find it utterly boring. But does that mean that the people who watch tennis or people who go fishing are boring? No. Their interests are just not where my interests are. So if your interests are in gaming, well, guess what? There are lots of women out there. There's lots of girls who enjoy playing video games. And if you're not doing anything with your life other than going to work and sitting in your parents' house and going to school, you need to find something else to do. Go get a hobby. Go running. Find something outdoors, or find something where there's a group of people with your common interest, and you'll start to meet a lot of people. It's not hard. It's not difficult. You just have to find a way of making it happen. And if you got to Uber there, guess what? You're going to Uber there. Either that or go buy yourself a bicycle with 2 gears, and guess what? You're going to be pedaling there, man. But you can't be down on yourself because you think other people don't want to go out with you because you don't have a car and live in your parents' place, because you think that you have a boring life, and because you think people are judging you because you don't have a car. You're projecting your inner thoughts onto yourself about what other people might be thinking about you. It's a might. It's a maybe. And more than likely, it's a fantasy. Get off of that, and you will find that you have a lot more to offer, and you're going to attract a lot more girls. It's that simple. It really is. When you actually bring it all the way down to the core, you're creating this all by yourself, and you need to stop doing that. Hope that helps. Hope that gives you something to think about, and hopefully it actually works. And with that, I just looked at the clock, and we are almost out of time. Hey, I want to thank everybody for listening, and everybody that actually listened to the first podcast. Hey, I really do appreciate you continuing on with us. I know that first one was a little bit rough. Our audio wasn't that great. Hopefully this one is a little bit easier to listen to with the new equipment that we just got in. We do want to keep improving, and one of the ways that we actually keep improving is that if you drop us a comment, leave us an honest opinion, let us know what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, and what you actually want to listen to. This is a show that is for you. You're the anonymous star. Hey, and if you actually want to become a slightly larger anonymous star, you can be a guest right here on the Girls Ask Guys show. The only thing we'd ask is that you subscribe. We'll have a chat, we'll have some laughs, we'll give some opinions on some questions, and we'll have a good time. Another thing that we hope is going to happen here real soon is that we're going to find that female co-host to be right here in studio. We really want that woman's point of view on all of the questions that are coming in. And with that, we are out of time. I hope you enjoyed the show. Now go out there and live life on your terms. I hope to see you back here on the next one where we can master this thing called life together. This has been a production of the Girls Ask Guys Show. Visit us over at thegirlsaskguyshow.com, where you can subscribe, submit your questions, and request to be a guest on the show. Go ahead and leave us some honest feedback. Let us know how we do. We really appreciate everybody listening, and we'll talk to you on the next one.